So hello, everybody. We are now in the recorded session of the SURE Open Call to Info webinar. My name is Milana Sekulic. I'm the communication manager from F6S, and I'm here to help navigate you through this info webinar and tell you a bit more about the SURE Open Call 2. So, as you know already, in a nutshell, this is an EU-funded project that is supporting the Horizon Europe mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030, with 15 partners from 10 countries, with the objectives to empower you to become agents of change and to expand the network of European Blue Schools, while also promoting the said EU mission ocean objectives. How do we plan to do that? By supporting your Blue School projects that are implementing these open schooling methodologies and the Blue curricula internationally, as well helping to train professional educators on Blue education. So we plan to support all of these objectives in following target regions, target areas. So Baltic Sea, Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Danube River, and Rhine River. And again, to mention, expanding the network of European Blue Schools means helping the schools that are applying for the open call as well to apply for this network that was founded by European Ocean Coalition, EU4Ocean. The network is essentially helping schools to integrate ocean-related topics into their curriculum, fostering a deeper understanding of marine ecosystems and sustainability among students. We are here to provide you guidance when applying for the network of European Blue Schools. And of course, more can be found on the dedicated website of the said network. The EU Mission Ocean objective that I've been mentioning so far, well, it's an EU's response to the critical need to revive oceans and rivers through Restore Our Oceans and Waters by 2030 mission. And it's definitely there to support diversity, mitigate climate change, through research innovation, blue investments, and also through Blue School projects like the ones that SURE is funding. What does SURE concretely offer? So, besides the funding that we are giving to you to implement these projects, we also provide you mentoring and to implement fully the projects. And we also provide you additional training materials for educators to increase their knowledge about sustainable education, Blue curricular toolkits and modules. All of these that can be found on a SURE digital platform that is there to provide all of these materials and for you for related to Blue curricula, but also to give the international visibility and support to the selected schools, which I will tell you a little bit more later. And we also have an additional submission platform that is hosted by F6S that is there to help you apply for the open calls. Last but not least, we also have our Mission Ocean ELIX, which is a virtual network that is gathering experts on ocean literacy from academia and education. So a little bit of international awareness of your project, a little bit of networking, a little bit of mentoring and training for you to actually be able to implement the ocean literacy objectives among students and other citizens. SURE open calls. So with these 3 open calls that we will organize, we will support 100 school projects on Blue sustainability. And each one of the 100 schools will receive up to 10,000 euros. And here you can kind of see how the general overview of the open call looks like. So once the call is open, you have 2 months to submit the proposal. Then after that, there is a period of eligibility check and evaluation period, which is being performed by 2 individual experts. And once the ranking is done and all of the news is shared with you, those that are selected will have a month and a half of a period to prepare and sign all of the necessary documents to be accepted into the program. Once the program starts, you have about 6 months to implement your selected school project. And of course, an additional period of 1.5 months of reporting. I will tell you a little bit more about it later. In all of this process that I just explained, especially during the project implementation, we have short country hubs, which are basically regional hubs organized by our project partners in the following countries: so Austria, Estonia, Hungary, Italy, Poland, Romania, and Turkey. They're here to help to offer you guidance in the implementation of the Blue projects, from joining the network of Blue schools I mentioned, to actually being there to mentor you during the actual implementation of the projects. And they're basically based in these countries according to the 5 target areas that I previously mentioned. So now we come to the very interesting part, the one for which you all join, I assume. So Open Call 2, what do you need to know before applying? In the next period, I will give you a bit more information about the main objectives of the Open Call, who can apply, how to apply, and finally, we will have a Q&A session in the end. So for you, it's super important to know that the submission period for Open Call 2 is lasting until 20th of November, 5 p.m. CT sharp. That means that if you try to submit an application after this period, it's not going to be accepted. And make sure to be on time. Don't wait the last minute in case of any issues. But yeah, have this date written somewhere down for you as a reminder. We have a pretty neat budget, since we need to distribute up to 10,000 euros per each selected project. That will, as I said, be implemented over the period of up to 6 months. And what do you get? Besides the money, I will also again mention that there is also project mentorship and guidance provided by the country hubs that were previously mentioned. And also there will be a period at the end of the call to introduce the public about your Blue project on the Shore Digital platform. So the Shore Digital platform that was mentioned at the beginning, that also has a ton of nice training materials and other interactive educative stuff that you can use with your students in the classroom, is also a place where you will be able to present your project to the public and also participate in the competition that will have in the end of each Open Call. Basically, the public will be able to vote for the favorite project, so to say, the best project, and the one that gets selected will receive Ocean Ambassador of the Year award. And this Open Call period that I previously explained will be implemented for Open Call 2 in the following months. So as I said, 20 November is the deadline to submit the application. And then from November to the end of January, we will do the eligibility check and evaluation by the external board of experts. Contracting will be done also in January by our team that will reach out to you directly. And then from February and July, those that get selected will be able to, from February till July 2025, will be able to join us and start implementing their school projects and also do the reporting. So it's important for you to know that the Blue projects that will get funding will have to be implemented under at least one topic and subtopic is already defined in the guidelines. I will show you the guidelines afterwards. But this is pretty much a nutshell of all of the topics that we have. They're super important. They're definitely aligned with the Mission Ocean objective and are there to help support ocean literacy and blue sustainability. So you could either select some topic such as sea-based activities, hazardous substances and marine litter, migration of the species, climate change, or sustainable use of water resources. And also as part of this topic, you can also select a specific subtopic that is relevant for your project. Again, I will repeat, at least one subtopic and subtopic. Not just that, all activities that will be funded through the project and under a selected topic will also have to come from a list of previously a list of previously defined activities in the SURE Open Call 2 guidelines. So I will not go too much into detail because you already have in-depth description of each activity in the guidelines itself. But that's important to know. In fact, you will have an option to choose a general activity from this list and then further give us more descriptions about it in your application form. So the activities that you will describe in the application form will be afterwards evaluated under certain criteria. So we have 3 criteria and then sub-questions for each one. So first criteria is relevance. So we will judge how relevant is your application form to the implementation of the mission ocean objectives and contribution to increasing ocean and water literacy. We will also judge your strategy for bringing in a European dimension, meaning your strategy for cooperating and twinning with other schools, which I will tell you a little bit more about it later. And we will also evaluate your commitment to the Climate Pact Pledge. Also, a bit more information on the second slide. So once the relevance is done, we go to the next criteria, which is called impact. So in the criteria impact, we will judge the innovative character of your application form. So how innovative you are in your approach, and whether the outcome of your expected activities is clear enough. And it also supports implementation of the open school methodology. Also, there will be a space for you in your online application form to tell us a little bit more about your strategy for engaging other stakeholders and local community. And of course, the strategy for promoting the project, spreading the word about what you're doing in this SURE-funded Blue project. Last but not least, we have the methodology, which is basically the actual plan of how you plan to implement everything that we deemed relevant and impactful in the previous criteria. So in the methodology, we have a strategy for involving students, so more than one classroom and other school staff, which is super important for us to see that you are giving space to more students, more school staff, more than one classroom. So basically giving space to more members of the school ecosystem to participate in this project, and to also give a chance to students to actively be involved in your activities in an authentic way where they can actually be the leaders and as future eco-citizens. Also super relevant is the team and rational project cost. So I will explain a little bit later. You will also have a space dedicated in your online application form where you will be able to state the team that will actually work on the implementation of the project and the project costs, since this is a relevant part to receive the funding. Who can apply? So the SURE Open Call 2 is open to elementary and secondary schools. If it's not clear to you whether you fit into this criteria, there is actually a document in the guidelines. It's linked in the eligibility section. It's an official document, let's say on a European level, where you can check whether you are following under any of these 3 levels. And the highest one being commonly designated as upper secondary education. Again, very important to check out if you're in doubt. Also, we're looking for elementary, secondary schools that are legally registered and established in the European Union or Horizon Europe associated countries. And additionally, any of these countries must be located in one out of 5 targeted regions in the SURE. So Baltic Sea, Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Rhine and Danube River area. And I will repeat once again, all of these rules that are just represented in the slide are also explained in detail in the SURE Open Call 2 guidelines for applicants. Another important information to have in mind when applying is that we are looking for schools that are either already accredited members of the European Network of Blue Schools, or they aspire to become a member, and will demonstrate how they intend to meet the prerequisites to become accredited members by the time of the completion of the project, which means that you should submit the application for the said network until the end of your project. To exactly understand what the application for the network means, what it contains, you should definitely go to the official website to check the terms and conditions, the prerequisites that I've just mentioned, because basically Network of European Blue Schools is also there to help you implement a Blue School project. Their project is called Find the Blue. And I will just quickly click on the link so you can see how the official website looks like. Again, all links can be shared afterwards, but just for you to know where you can find a bit more information, how to develop a project, and how to submit your school project. Also, most importantly, the dates for submitting the application form for the network. And a little inside info, there is also a handbook for teachers, very useful tool, which gives you a bit more explanation about the Find the Blue project and other examples of successful projects as well. Okay, so besides being elementary, secondary schools that wants to be part of the Network of Blue Schools, we are looking for schools that are open for collaboration and twinning with other Blue schools, either from the Network of European Blue Schools or those aspiring to become accredited members. So you will see later that we have a dedicated space in the online application form where you can describe this collaboration and twinning as part of your project proposal, right? And what does these cooperation activities mean? It's basically finding other teachers and students that are working on similar projects or interested in working similar projects, especially those that aspire to become members of the Network of European Blue Schools, and to basically establish this international cooperation with them, or regional cooperation, where you can share the best practices from your projects and ocean literacy activities. So exchanging practices, exchanging knowledge. The actual format is not so strict, so it can definitely be online or on-site. But in case you need a partner, because we are looking for either already established collaborations and twinnings or those that are about to happen. So if you do still need a partner for that, we suggest going to EU4Ocean platform, where you can discover other schools they're engaging in similar projects and activities. And you also have a map, as you can see, to find the schools. Pretty neat. Or you can go to eTwinning portal, another support provided by European Commission, where you can check out the eTwinning mechanism and other projects that participated in it. So yes, these will be the main links. And so yeah, before I close the who can apply part, I will just briefly remind you that before we start the evaluation period, there will also be an eligibility check. Eligibility check consists of the rules that you see here on this slide. They're also presented in the guidelines for the Open Call 2. And if any of you, any of the schools that applied are not fitting the eligibility check, we will of course reach out to you to inform you about this decision and give you the reasons why you're not fit. But for you, it's good to know in advance what some of the reasons may be. So first of all, for you to be eligible for the Open Call 2, you need to submit the application form through the F6S platform and by the defined deadline, so 20th of November, 5 p.m. CET. And you should submit only one and fully completed proposal. I'll explain you what fully completed means afterwards. If there are any issues, of course, with the submission, I will give you examples later how to do that. There are rules about it in the guidelines as well, the support system, if there was any technical issue. But it's important for you to know that there should be one application, one school, one application. So also very important is that the applicant has not received funding for ProBlue or Blue Lights project under Open Calls. You may be aware that there are several sister projects under the same EU Mission Ocean. And we are currently also running simultaneously, so to say, the Open Calls. You should definitely check them out. Maybe if you're not eligible under this one, perhaps you will be eligible under one of the other projects, but it's important for you to know that in the end, you can receive the funding only from one of the three projects, only from one project. So either Shore, either ProBlue or Blue Lights, just to know. Also, something that I already mentioned, I will repeat again, is that the applicant should select at least one topic and subtopic according to the provided list in the guidelines of applicants. And the applicant should be a primary or secondary school that is legally registered and established in the European Union and Horizon associated countries according to the national rules. And of course, additionally, being in one of the target areas of Shore, and as mentioned. The budget of the proposal does not exceed 10,000 euros and is provided in euro currency. And the proposal should fully be written in English. If all of the eligibility conditions are met, as specified in the guidelines, that means you passed the check and you're ready for the evaluation phase. How and where do I apply? So, step one should be definitely to read the guidelines that I mentioned several times. The guidelines are available on the Shore project website, but I will just briefly open the document so you can see at least the table of contents. So everything that I pretty much mentioned so far is also here. So from eligibility criteria, who can apply, which countries and regions, a little bit more information about the European Network of Blue Schools, and general proposal eligibility, to how to prepare the proposal to submit it. So what kind of topics, what kind of activities are supported, all described in depth in the guidelines. The evaluation criteria and the selection process and the Shore awarded projects follow-up. So if you get selected, this will definitely be a relevant part for you even before that, but please read the whole document so you get the full terms and conditions of participating in the Shore project. And the evaluation criteria that I mentioned, there is also an Annex 1.1 that is also available on the Shore website, which gives a little bit more detail about the evaluation process, the evaluation selection, the final ranking list. So generally just the rules for you to know the weight of each criteria, the type of ranking and grades that you can get. So yeah, these will be the main documents for the terms and conditions. Step number 2 is once you get acquainted with the guidelines and all rules, you should go and create a profile on the F6S platform, which is a submission platform where we accept the Shore application forms. So be aware that we are accepting applications from individuals. That's how the application form is technically set up. So you're submitting the application in the name of the school as an individual, as a representative of the school. And if you're having any technical issues when it comes to registration on the platform, there is also a deliverable 6.1 submission and management platform also available on the Shore Open Call website page. So you read the guidelines, you created a profile, you're ready to start the application form. What does the application form fully means? For those of you that perhaps participated in the first call would know that the first call functioned in a way that you had part of the online application form and also the technical analysis. Now it's totally different. Now the application process is happening fully online. So no additional documents, right? And the online application form is divided into several sections. So you have a section where you can provide a bit more information as an individual. Very important because, as we said, you're submitting application as a representative of the school. Then you also have a section to dedicate to give us a bit more information about the school itself and the proposal info, the eligibility, and a space to describe the proposal. How does that actually look like? Let me click on the application form. So you can see this, that I already started the application form, for example, because I have this test profile, I'm registered, and I am ready to start filling it out. So I provided my name, my role and position in the school info. Pay attention to these little stars that you have next to the question. That means that the question is mandatory. So to be eligible, to have the fully submitted online application, you should answer every question that is indicated by a star as mandatory. Okay? So mandatory is full name, street address, contact point, email address. Very important. Please provide an email address to the main one to which we should send all open call news and official information to you. You can also provide us a phone number, but that is not mandatory. And the school ID number. So the school ID number should be either VAT, so value added tax identification number, or registration number. Unique identification number that is assigned to a school by the relevant educational authority or government body. Please check this with your administration. You may have both, you may have only one, but either way, you have a space to provide us the ID number that is needed. In proposal info is just a short proposal acronym. So think about something catchy, sweet and short that will be for you nice to see on Shore platform, also on social media and the website once we start promoting your selected project. Sorry, the proposal acronym is just to recognize our project. Project title is the short and sweet title that we should use during the promotion. And you're probably noticing another thing here now. Besides the star, you also have the number of indicated characters. So this is how much characters each question should have, each answer should have. So pay attention to that as well. Project summary. As you can see, besides the title, we'll also ask you to have a short description of your project, something that will be posted on our communication channels on the Shore platform. So again, think about something sweet and short and something that really describes your project in a nutshell. Eligibility. Eligibility here is just to state your status as a school, so what type of school you are, and the link that I mentioned where you can actually check if you're part of this official type of school that we're looking to fund, is also included in the application form, so you can check each level. School's country of origin, target geographical area of the project. So here you have a drop-down list. You can select only one answer, and you should select the country in which your school is registered, legally established. But you may also notice that there are some countries that are repeated. So for example, Austria. Austria can also be part of the Danube River area or Rhine River area. How to select one of these options? Well, if you're planning to implement your project to base it in Danube River area, then please go for this option, because it will be helpful for you afterwards once you get selected to work with the mentors from the country hubs that is located in the Danube River area. Topic, subtopic of your project. Another mandatory questions, as we said. The whole list of all topics and subtopics are here as described in the guidelines, so it's easy for you just to put a checkbox and for all of the topics or subtopics that you're interested in to support through your Blue projects. Accreditation European Network of Blue Schools. So here you can just state, you can select only one option. to state whether you're already accredited member of NEBS, shortened for the Network of European Blue Schools, or if you aspire to become a member of NEBS. And in the instructions, you also have the links to the prerequisites that I previously mentioned during the webinar. Please indicate how much funding you request for your project implementation. As we said, you can only request up to 10,000 euros. The only currency that is accepted is euros, and this is the space to write it down. So once you fill this part out, this is where you start actually describing your project and your project activities. So as we said, the first criteria is relevance, and each question is dedicated to each sub-criteria that I already mentioned. So the first one is, how do your project activities contribute to increasing ocean and water literacy among students, and how they're connected with the Mission Ocean objectives? Again, if you need more information about EU Mission Ocean itself, there's a link beneath. And not just that, keep your attention to these instructions beneath each question. The instructions were written down to give you additional links, additional description, additional examples if you're not sure what you're supposed to answer as part of a question. So for example, do you plan to cooperate with other Blue Schools? And with whom? How will you elevate the project's activities to the European dimension through cooperation or twinning activities? So a bit more explanation is given about it, the relevant links to find the partners. How do you plan to support the values of European Climate Pact Pledge with your project? Another relevant question and the last one from the relevance criteria. You have here the explanation of what the European Climate Pact Pledge means, and how will the activities contribute to carbon neutrality and decarbonization. Super important, besides describing the nature of your activities and how do they help to reduce the carbon footprint and other types of pollution, is also to mention your commitment to the Climate Pact Pledge, which is one of the important aspects of the funded project. So make sure that your proposal explicitly mentions the adherence to this pledge, and the pledge itself is available again on the link provided in the instructions. So once you're done with the relevance, you go to the impact, where you can tell us a bit more about how you plan to engage local stakeholders in the community and project activities, to tell us a bit more about the innovativeness of your proposal, and how do you plan to promote the project. And again, you can see a little bit more of the instructions here. For example, if you're struggling to develop a strategy to promote the project, you have examples of what does this promotion actually means. What kind of activities can be included in the promotion of your Blue project. So we already passed the relevance and impact, and now we are entering methodology. The methodology section and methodology criteria is focused on, first of all, selecting the activities that will be performed during the project implementation. So again, I'm coming back to the list of predefined activities in the guidelines. You can select one or more by clicking on a checkbox, but applicants are advised to choose at least 3 activities from a fixed list. So yeah, at least 3 checkboxes from this list would be nice. And once you selected the activities, you also have a question dedicated to describing the chosen project activities. In here, it'll be good to be pragmatic in a way that you should have a plan. You have 6 months, so please describe each activity and how you plan to implement it across the 6-month period, and what are the expected results. And of course, also who will be involved, including the number of students and teachers that are participating. So if this is just quantitative, selecting the type of activities, this is very qualitative, but very direct in the type of clear output that is being expected from the project, the funded project. How will students be involved during the whole lifespan of the project? How will the co-creation process and leadership be fostered among all students? A very important question as well, because it allows you to describe different roles that students will take during the project, and how will they work together to generate ideas, and if there are any opportunities for them to actually take the leadership roles in the listed activities. How will project activities provide authentic interlinked learning activities for students? Are these activities educational experience which link different subjects and allow students to apply their knowledge in a practical and real world scenarios, right? So that's also very important. Also, the one thing that I already mentioned is, how do you plan to involve more than one classroom of students and other members of school staff? So making sure they have as many members of school ecosystem involved in your funded project. Question 28, you can see here as an interesting one. It says, do you plan to involve migrants or Ukrainian citizens in the project activities? You'll see also in the guidelines that we have part of the budget dedicated to supporting this mission. So to help migrants and Ukrainian citizens, they may participate in the project. So if you do plan to do that, and you click on the checklist, yes, check back button, yes, then you can also provide us a bit more details on how they will be involved. And last but not least, you have a space to summarize the expected project costs for the activities that you previously described. If you're struggling to understand the types of costs, we also provided a bit more of the instructions here on what those costs can be. Have in mind that they have to fit into the 10,000 euros, up to 10,000 euros that you previously listed in the start of the online application form. And in the end, you have a space to summarize the competencies of the team involved in the proposal. So to state each team member and the role in the project and previous experience in similar activities. Ethics and security list. Ethics and security is, well, it starts with a checklist. Again, a checklist, but it's here for you to tell us if there are some activities that go beyond the normal school and school-related activities, something that is beyond the normal rules and guidelines of your school and your school ecosystem. So if in case there is no thing to be checked on the list, so in case all your project activities will be in line with school rules, please check the last box, which says, I confirm that none of the above issues apply to my proposal. And I know that you may say, but there is a box that says the proposal involves children, and every school proposal should involve children. But if in the involvement of the children goes beyond the normal school rules, the rules of your school, then you need to check this and explain us what kind of activities is involved in this case. The same goes for the security. So you have a chance to tell us if there is any possibility that these activities that will be funded will raise the security issues. And if not, please just click on the button, none of the issues stated apply to my proposal. So similar to the ethics checklist in the previous question. If you checked any of these boxes in the previous questions from the ethics and security checklist, then you will be mandatory for you to submit the ethics self-assessment. So a very brief document in a PDF format where you will just briefly describe us a rationale for the option that was made from the checklist, and how does the proposal still aligns with the legal and ethical requirements of your country and your schools. Again, there is a whole description here under the question, and if you are still struggling with this part, feel free to write the short team to help you navigate this question. But again, only if you checked any of these checkboxes will it be obligatory for you to also submit the ethics self-assessment. And once you're done with both the descriptive and the administrative part of your proposal, you also have a section dedicated to requirements to join SURE program referrals. So please state if selected, if you get selected, please state if you agree to sign also the SURE Declaration of Honor. Again, the link is also available in the application form, so you can check out what this Declaration of Honor actually contains. And if you accept the SURE Open Call rules as stated in the guidelines for applicants, if there's any risk of double funding, this is an explicit rule from the European Commission. You also have a specific document, a reference to document listed here. And if there is any conflict of interest for reasons involving economic interest, political or national affinity, family or emotional ties, or any other shared interest. So if there is no double funding, no conflict of interest, just click on the button, on the checkbox. And this is very relevant. This question is very relevant for anybody that participated in Open Call 1. So if you applied for the Open Call 1 and you were ineligible or you were evaluated but you were not selected, because bear in mind, you can be funded in SURE project only once as a school for only one project, then you can still apply. So you haven't been selected, but you want to try again in the second Open Call. However, you can submit a new application where you are improving or reframing the previous application. So you are either improving your project, you're bringing a new project. And in this case, it is mandatory to flag that this is a resubmission. So only in these cases, please click on this checkbox as well. Once you're done, you also have a chance to tell us a bit more if you want about how did you find out about this call. This is very relevant for us. We want to learn better on how we can reach out to you and spread the news more effectively about all these funding opportunities. And if you filled out all mandatory questions and you deem that you're ready as well when it comes to non-mandatory questions, then you can click on this button. So apply for SURE Open Call 2, you click on it, and this is it. This is the submission. So again, everything happens online. There's a bit more time to read the guidelines and rules, but once you're done, that's it. I will state here just once more the relevant documents to read before you apply, as well as afterwards. So besides the SURE Open Call 2 guidelines for applicants and also Annex 1.1 for evaluation and selection rules, you also have a SURE sub-grant agreement, declaration of honor, and bank account information. These documents are available as examples, as templates on the SURE Open Call website page. But please check them out, because if you get selected, you have to sign the sub-grant agreement to be part of the program, as well as the declaration of honor. And you also have an example of what kind of bank account information is needed to receive the funding. And last but not least, you also have the SURE submission and management platform. Important to state once again, if you're struggling technically speaking with the registration on the F-Success platform. So besides this info webinar and the official Open Call email that we have, you can always get additional support from SURE partners, specifically from country hubs. So if you have any question that is super specific in the context of your region or of your location in which you're implementing the project, you have some doubts about Network of Blue Schools as well, you should definitely get in touch with our country hubs. So all contacts, all country hubs, and all people involved with the country hubs are listed on the SURE website as well. So for example, if you're looking for support from Turkish country hub, you can find the relevant people there. And Also, a little advice is to check other open call related and other events on our show website. We make sure to promote all relevant events there. And you can check the call list. For example, I can see that there is an event on November 5th, for example, that is led by Romanian Country Hub. So if you need some support in the for example, Black Sea area, and you come from Romania, you can register for this webinar or for any other event that you see here on this event calendar. And last but not least, so I've been mentioning the Open Call website page several times now. It's time for you to also see it in person. I haven't done so before. So all of these links that I mentioned, all relevant information, it's summarized on this website that we have. And very important is to check out, besides all of this description, objectives and requirements, to also see the section with relevant documents that I just mentioned. And also a nice suggestion is to check the section dedicated to frequently asked questions, because sometimes maybe something that you haven't found, information you haven't found here or haven't noticed it, is maybe more explicitly mentioned and described in one of the questions from the frequently asked questions. If you're still having any doubts or any issues, you're always free to write to our main help desk, our main email for the Shore Open Calls. So it's called opencalls@shoreproject.eu. And we'll be here to help you, myself, Milana, and my colleague, Joanna Makotska. However, if you're experiencing any technical issues with the registration or the application form itself on the F6S platform, you also have support at f6s.com, where you can reach out directly to our F6S support team. And now we're coming to Q&A session. Apologies for taking 5 more minutes from you. So if you don't mind, I will also extend the period for Q&A session just for 5 minutes, so we answer all questions. I will stop sharing my screen so I can read your questions. So we have a question from persons asking, will we use the same budget with the partner country of us? Now just need a little bit more explanation, maybe another question, follow-up question in the Q&A section. Just understand what the partner country is in this case. But just to know that the budget should be used solely by one school that is implementing the project. Okay. And let me check if we have other people from my team also to help with the Q&A section. Joanna.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, and hi, Milana, as well. I'm just answering the question on the Q&A chat. I hope.
Oh, you're answering the. Oh, great,
yes,
great.
so I already answered like more than 13 of them, and they're still popping out. So let's come back to the first question. But I don't.
Okay.
If you could
Joanna,
read
would
it
you mind
again.
maybe answering in person, also the questions that haven't been answered? I will give the floor to you now.
Can you read me the question again, or just if we could have this person to speak up, because I don't see it right now.
So we had a question saying, will we use the same budget with the partner country of us?
Okay, so to be honest, I don't fully understand the question, or I think we will need more details to answer it properly. So Yüksel, if you could provide more details, then we will be able to answer it.
Yes. Yes. So we will help to this answer to this person. Then we have another question from another person. So would applying Pro Blue and Blue Light decrease the chance that we get funded by Shore? Joanna?
This is a very interesting question, to be honest. And actually, I had a thought to. Well, I took a second before I answered to it. I would say, in to be straightforward, I think it's doesn't decrease your chances. I rather think about the effort which you need to put in preparing, let's say, 3 different applications, because the calls are still different, I would say, in terms of, features of the application, and also they have a different conditions to apply. Even though if we end up with the, let's say, similar goal, we still have a different rules there. So I'm just wondering about, the time spent on the preparation of 3 different projects, and if, it's sometimes we are pretty sure right now, or we can all 3 calls, there's the same rule that if you will be funded at one call, you cannot be funded in the different ones. So I think those things should be taken into consideration before you apply to the 3 different open calls, dedicating the time, and also, you will probably have to shape your projects to the different rules. So I would say take a time to think which call is the best for you, for your project. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that elaborate answer, Joanna. So we also have, somebody probably just stating something and asking a question, but still really relevant to mention. So a person said elementary school from years 1st class to 7th class, so 7 to 13 years of old students. Probably a person meant to ask if this is considered to be an eligible school. If it fits under the rules from the link from the document that we already mentioned, that is part of the guidelines, also part of the online application form, then yes. Again, please make sure to read this document to see under which level of education your school fits.
Mm-hmm.
Can we include a field trip in a nearby place requiring accommodation of students for 1 to 2 days outside their hometown? Are transfer and travel costs eligible?
Mm-hmm. Very good question again. This is, I would say it will depend on the field trip. Is it's one of the option which you can do as an activity. So definitely, I would say yes. When it comes to the cost associated with the field trip, so according to the rules, more rules about the cost you will read in the proposal, in the destruction. So first of all, the travel costs may include travel, accommodation, and subsidies for the students. So I would say that the answer is yes.
Okay. We have a very interesting question. Can we as teachers attend one of the Erasmus Plus courses to learn more about our chosen subject? Does the project support this?
So interesting. So it seems like the part of the project will be dedicated for teachers, but we would like to focus on the students and take the perspective of the students so they can prepare the project related to the ocean and water literacy. So I'm afraid that it is not really eligible activity to attend the course.
Another interesting question. I'm a parent and the school says I can apply the project and manage it with school team. Is this possible?
I would say it is not impossible, but still I would say that it will depend on your relation with the school. So make sure you can represent the school, because we are going to fund the school. If the school will be successful, we will fund the school. And also during the whole process, we will be also contacting the person who submitted the application within the eligibility or evaluation results. So I would say it is good to arrange your connection with the school, whether you can represent them in the process of application.
Okay. Another question. We have a partner school from other country and we want to implement mobility activities. They will also visit us. Will we share our budget or will they apply with another project and use their budget? So
definitely, please do not share the budget of this, as the schools who is applying should fully use the budget for the one school activity, just not to mix two different schools, also to avoid double funding, because we don't know who is the second school, okay, the partner school. So we would like to fund only individual schools. So this is the rule, okay? And just make sure that you're going to take this into account. They can apply as another project, that this is fine. And then you can do, let's say, the together like a twinning or cooperation activities, but each school should have the separate budget, and please avoid the double funding of activities.
yes. Then we have a question, and by the way, we'll have to extend the 5 more minutes, so but we'll try to be quick to answer everything. In the application, you ask for info on how we will support the values of the Climate Change Pact. Can you be more specific? Give us an example.
I would suggest to refer directly to the website. I think there's several pacts already mentioned on the website as examples. So definitely it's worth to visit it and just, put the context of the climate change, different activity, to put this context in your activities.
Okay. Then we are planning to apply a project with our municipality. Is a school from another country, is a school from another country an advantage to get approved, or is it the same chance with local events too?
I think it's quite interesting question. I would refer to the evaluation criteria, and the first one, which is relevance. As you know, I would say the evaluators will check how the proposal demonstrates a strategy for bringing in an European dimension and cooperation with other blue schools. Also, there is also, I think it is also mentioned in the impact criterion when evaluators will check the strategy for stakeholders and local community engagement. So I think there is no, let's say, straightforward answer, as it will be checked by the evaluators which are independent from F6S, but definitely this is the good start to elaborate the project while taking into account the criteria.
Okay. So, is it recommended to choose multiple topics and subtopics for the project? We said at least one,
Yeah.
and at least one topic and a subtopic. If I may say, it's really up to you. You need to figure out what you are passionate about, what you want to focus on in your project. So you should have at least one topic and at least one subtopic. And if you have more to support, right, Joanna, it's also even better and you're good. But there is no condition, and you have to have 2 or 3, or it's like at least one topic and at least one subtopic. So yeah, I guess the more the merrier, but that's why you have a full list to select from there. Yeah. Let's say, is there a minimum number of hours of ocean literacy to be developed within the students?
No, we didn't define the minimum hour. We defined minimum number of activities. So we would like to, let's say, that the proposal will have minimum 3 different activities from the list provided.
Okay. In our budget, we can include costs for audiovisual equipment, for example, a drone or camera, which will be used by students to record and produce educational dissemination audiovisual material. So can this be included in the budget? I guess that's the question.
Yes, and I can directly read it from the proposal about the instruction about the expected project cost. So the equipment cost referred to the depreciation cost of lab software and photo equipment needed for the implementation of activities.
Just want to check that high schools, so students aged 15 to 18 can also apply. Well, if they fit into the criteria, right, that we listed.
Exactly.
At the secondary school, right? Then for sure they can. Can a Sicilian partner participate in your funding and join the European Blue Schools later? Well, the Sicilian is part of the Italian, right? Italy is one of the eligible countries. And if you aspire to become a part of the network of European Blue Schools, then you should at least, apply, but then demonstrate afterwards by the end of the project how you plan to fill in this prerequisite, so submit the application. Did I say it correctly, Joanna, or do you have?
Yes, definitely.
Will the recording from this webinar be published on the project website? Yes, that's the plan. So you can watch it again afterwards. So let's say if we have another one.
Yeah, if we have a partner from different country as a partner and hosting a mobility at us with their participation, it is possible for applicant school to pay for their travel budget and subsidize costs during the mobility hosted by the applicant.
Yeah.
We have a partner from different country as a partner. I would refer again. I'm not sure whether I understand the question correctly, but I will still refer to the rule: one school, one budget. All the funds go to one school activities. So no paying for another school, which might be connected to the mobility. Okay, please avoid the double funding, as this is the basics for the EU funding.
And then we have a question asking about the qualification rules on for the type of school, right? So if you open the document that is there to help you to understand if you qualify as a eligible school, there are different levels, and so we're mentioning here levels for 1 to 6. But if you see, we already mentioned in the guidelines, we are accepting schools up to level 3, so upper secondary school. Do we have another question?
I think we. Okay, this I am a parent and the school says I can apply.
No, we already answered that one. Yeah. It was I think we have
if you have a commitment, yes. So this is fine.
Okay. We have a lot of questions answered. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just didn't, let's say, mark them as answered live, but I think.
Well, we already took a bit more time from our attendees, and thank you so much for all of the attention that you gave to us, and that you brought such great and interesting questions, and we're looking forward to your applications. As a reminder, please submit them by 20th of November, 2024, 5 p.m. Central European Time. And again, if you have any questions, we're still here to answer them, as mentioned. So yeah, stay tuned, and yeah, good luck with the applications.